Welcome to Metal Weekly, the series where I bring you the best new releases that you may have missed from the previous week. Now, as this is a new series and we're starting midway through April, I'm going to include some albums from the first week of April because we've not had any other episodes so far, so, more metal equals more fun. First up on the chopping block, we have Nightwish, probably the biggest release on this entire list. For anyone living under a rock, they released the new album Human Nature on Nuclear Blast on April the 10th. Let's have a listen. This is the 9th studio album from this epic symphonic Finnish metal band. This is probably the most divisive album yet. They kind of do something a bit different on this album. It's more experimental, it's a bit more proggy. The whole second disc is orchestral, so that is completely new and interesting. And yeah, it's very divisive. A lot of people online, they can't get with the change. A lot of people love the change. I'm on the side of love the change. I love the proggy nature of the songs. I love how different it sounds to every other Nightwish album. I just love the new take on Nightwish. For me, it's the best one since Once. For other people, they just can't get their heads around it. It's fine, whatever you like. Of course, differing opinions is always fine. It's welcomed, actually. I love that this is a divisive album because it sparks more talk, more debate in the comments. So tell me in the comments below if you've heard it already. What do you think about the album? Are you on the side of loving it, or you're on the side of hating it, or are you kind of in the middle of just, you don't know what to think yet? But this is an album for people who love symphonic metal, so if you've never heard of them, if you love stuff like Camelot, if you love stuff like After Forever, if you love stuff like Epica, you will probably like this album. They took a chance on this album, and for me personally, it paid off. Now, if symphonic metal isn't your thing, maybe you want something a bit darker. Next up, we have the album Black Waves by the band Svartkonst. It was released April the 3rd on Trust No One Recordings. Have a listen. This is for all you black metal fans out there who want something fast and furious, but also melodic. They have 4-minute fast and furious black metal songs with amazing vocals and, fast riffs, heavy drumming, everything you want in a furious black metal song. But then they have longer songs with really melodic parts, kind of like the epic 10-minute closer, which is Black Waves, which is my favourite from the album. I love Black Waves. The way, the pronunciation when he says Black Waves, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love it. I love his singing. I love all the songs in this album. I love how melodic it is. It'll probably make my top 10 of April. It probably will. So I'm not going to gush about it too much because I'll do that in my top 10 of April list when we get to there. But yeah, this album is for anyone who loves black metal, loves it fast, loves it melodic, loves it in your face. Svartkonst has you covered. Black Waves is amazing, and so is the album art. The album art is just beautiful. It's the main reason I checked out this album, because of the art. Because, all you need is good art sometimes, and it hooks the listener in. Makes the listener want to listen to music, and when I see that, I want to listen to the music. And thank God, the music is fucking fantastic. Next up, some melodic death metal for you in the form of Wolfheart. Wolfheart just released Wolves of Karelia on Napalm Records April the 10th. Let's give it a listen. This legendary melodic death metal band is back. All their albums so far have been stellar, to say the least, and this one holds up to the rest. I wouldn't say it's as good as the previous albums. I'd think it's a bit on par with some of them, but it's still 100% one of the best albums of April so far. If you love melodic, if you love death, if you love melodic death, then Wolfheart has you covered. Each song is just dripping with melody. If you've never heard of this band before, they're kind of like a gruff, almost werewolf version of Insomnium. because they have those beautiful melodies, but the vocals are a lot more, I'd say gruff is the right word, a lot more gruff, and it feels like a werewolf is singing, but I love it. It works so well with the music. The album is an awesome piece of art. The guitar as well on the track The Hammer, my personal favourite of the album, is just out of this world. It is cosmic. That's what the word to describe The Hammer is, and the rest of the songs in this album, they all deliver. They're all beautiful. If you love melodic death metal, this band and this album has you covered. Speaking of death, we have a more brutal kind of death metal coming up with the band Benighted. So Benighted just released their latest album, Obscene, Repressed. It was on Season of Mist, April the 10th. Check it out. Now, unlike the melodic death metal, soothing melodies of Wolfheart, this is fucking brutal. This is in your face, it's gory, it's disgusting, it's dripping with ooze, and I love it. If you love your death metal with and just people throwing up, the first song starts out with some squelchy noises and ends with someone throwing up. That's all you need to know with this band. It's ridiculous, it's gory, it's disgusting, it's exactly what death metal should be. Exactly what death metal should be, and this album, I've played over and over. I love all the songs. If I was going to pick a favourite, it would probably be Implore the Negative. I really love the groove in that song, and it kind of feels like the Hatebreed singer. I don't know if he's actually in it, but it kind of sounds like that for the melody, but all the songs on this album are perfect. If you love grimy, brutal death metal, definitely check this album out. Next up we have Aara with their album Ergô, Einai. This album was released on April the 3rd on Debbie Mer Morty Productions. Unlike Svartkonst, this black metal is more atmospheric, it's more ethereal, it's more in line with the bands like Alcest, Seor, Winterfell, if any of those kind of atmospheric-y black metal bands, it's more in tune with them. This is definitely a more relaxing album. You could just pop this on the whole way through and you're just transported to a forest and you're just chilling there in a tent with this music on, the trees are just kind of rustling everywhere, and there's a cold wind blowing in, but you don't care, you're relaxed. That's what this album feels like. It is amazing, exactly the kind of black metal that I love. I love atmospheric black metal, and if you do too, this album will be right up your alley. Next up, we got some more death metal for you with the band Live Burial and their album Unending Futility. This was released April the 3rd on Transcending Obscurity Records. Check it out. Now this is for all you fans of death. This sounds like death reincarnated. It really does. Like the vocals, just the aggressive nature, it sounds like Scream Bloody Gore era of death. And that's why I love these guys so much, and that's why this album is killer. But it's not just rehashing the old material, it does have some new tricks in here, there's a bit more melody, there's a lot more to it than just a copy and paste of death. But even if it was just a copy and paste of death, death's fucking phenomenal, so that's still fine in my books. But if you're looking for that kind of old school death metal in a new school setting, then Live Burial has you covered, because this album is flawless. It's fucking awesome, and it's one of the best albums I've heard in April. Next up, different genre, changing it up, we got some doom metal for you with the band Loviatar and the album Lightless. This was also released on April the 3rd, but on Prosthetic Records. I love Doom. And this is such a unique Doom band. It has all the qualities of Funeral Doom on some of the songs, but then it switches it up on other songs. It's more fast and more sludgy. It's a very unique style of Doom. The singing is clean and beautiful, but then the guitars, there's like funky parts like Tool on some sections, and then there's proper funeral kind of dreary and bleak sections. I love just the dynamic of this album. I love how different it is from song to song, and the singing is beautiful. I'm glad it's actually clean singing. Usually I prefer death Doom, the death kind of growls, but on this it just works. The clean singing just works on this record. I don't know why. I think it's just because he's that good a vocalist that it makes it work. But if you're looking for something which is, you know, a bit bleaker, a bit drearier, but also kind of beautiful, this album has you covered. And it's one of my favourites of April, which is why I'm talking about it. So check this one out. The next one's for all you metalcore fans out there, and it's August Burns Red with the album Guardians. This was released April 3rd on Fearless Records, and I don't have a sound clip for you for this one, because it's got the Universal Music Group attached to them, and they are known for giving strikes, not just claims, strikes on channels, so I'm not even going to risk it with these guys. But just take my word for it, the album is, for me, a great album. It is a very divisive album. We started with a divisive album with Nightwish. We're ending on a divisive album with Guardians. There's a lot of flip-flopping around. Some scores I've seen 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Some scores like 5, 4. So again, it's very divisive, which also sparks debate, which is great. But I love it. I think all the songs are catchy. They all get stuck in my head. Bones, the song Bones, that chorus is stuck in my head right now. I'm not the biggest metalcore fan, so maybe that's why. I prefer the more heavy metal side of bands, which is probably why I prefer newer Parkway Drive. Older Parkway Drive is a bit too metalcore for me. Newer stuff is fantastic. It's catchy, sing-alongable, kind of, it has that appeal to me, personally. The older stuff is fine. Just like August Burns Red is fine. The newer stuff, it sings to me. And it's not the same for a lot of people. A lot of metalcore fans would see this as sacrilege. But for me, I love the direction they're going. I love how catchy all the songs are. And if you just love a good heavy metal time, I think Guardians will be a good album for you. But this is one of the albums you have to just try out. Like Nightwish, this is one of the ones you have to try out for yourself. You might hate it. You might like it. This is a hard one to describe to you guys, but there is so many songs on here that I love. The Lighthouse being one of them. A fucking amazing chorus in that. And again, like I said, Bones being amazing. And the final track on the album is just a great, almost proggy kind of song for August. But yeah, just tell me what you thought of that album, and tell me what you thought of all the albums on the list if you've heard of any of them before. So that concludes the first episode of Metal Weekly. Hopefully you found some albums, some new bands to enjoy for the coming weeks, and let me know what you thought of the episode. If you want more, if you want me to shut the fuck up, just tell me in the comments. It's always fun. Let me know what your favourite albums have been so far in April, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.